Today we have another scouting report of an oldie but a goodie, an unboxing of Beyond Valor. An unboxing that's probably been done many times by other people, but I thought I would add one to my channel just for completion's sake. I got this copy from a fellow YouTuber, Wardrobe Plays World War II. So go check his channel out. Just search for that, Wardrobe Plays World War II. And it looks like I got it for a reasonable price. I got two modules from him for a reasonable price. Beyond Valor and for King of Country. This is second edition Beyond Valor. It's essentially new. It's partially punched, but it's, for all intents and purposes, it is basically brand new. So I picked it up at a pretty reasonable price. And it looks like Wardrobe plays, his real name is Todd. He plays, if you look at his channel, he plays all kinds of historical war games, from miniatures to lock and load to tactical, all the way up to looks like grand strategy. I think he's working his way through the Battle for Normandy from GMT. So he spreads himself all over the place. Myself, I play pretty much exclusively ASL. And I used to play Combat Commander a little bit. And my buddy, my partner in crime, Scott, is pulling me into BCS, Battalion Combat series, a little bit, so we can eventually play some play-by-email games on the side. But the point is Todd appears to be divesting himself of ASL. He's just into way too many games, and he's going to focus on starter kit from an ASL perspective while he plays all of the other war games that he's really into, if you check out his channel. So let's go through Beyond Valor second edition. Third edition, I don't believe it is much different, if at all, from Beyond Valor. Maybe a few errata have been included in the scenarios and whatnot. But let's jump into the unboxing of Beyond Valor. I am going to get it out of the way real quick. The whole box here, you can see partially punched here, but there are a lot of counters in Beyond Valor. So let me get this to the side, and we'll go through it real quick. I'm not going to go through all the baggies. He looks like he started punching German and utility counters before it set in on him that I am insane for getting into ASL, and then he started selling his stuff. So thank you, Todd, for the Beyond Valor module. So what we have is obviously the box, 10 maps, 1 through 5, 8, and 20 through 23. My camera setup's a little bit different this time. I tried to get a little bit more of a zoom out to be able to fit more in. 14 counter sheets, 13 full sheets and 1 half sheet, and 12 scenario cards, which is 24 scenarios total, and 4 six-sided dice. And this is a complete module. Like I said, partially punched from Todd. Let me get all these baggies out of the way. Partially punched sheet 1 of 14. Utility counters here. Not a whole lot to see. ASL has thousands of utility counters. Then we start in on Russian and German acquisition counters. Hopefully my new setup, the autofocus works on the zoom. Nearly a fully punched German sheet. Beyond Valor does include some Finnish units. Of course, you can get the entire Finnish order of battle in Hakapale. Did I get that right? I am not sure. But there are some Finns included in Beyond Valor. More Germans punched. Rest of the Finns didn't look like he punched any of the Finnish order of battle. Well, partial order of battle. There's just a smattering of Finnish infantry in Beyond Valor. Like I said, if you want the full-blown Finnish experience, um, infantry, vehicles, AFVs, and ordnance and support weapons, that's in Hakapale. Here we go in the Russians. And Beyond Valor is one of the most, or is the most important module in the ASL system because in order to play it, at least play it on a physical table with maps and counters, you need Beyond Valor, which has German and Russians. That basically kicks off most of Europe until 1944. Or most of Europe and Asia, Russia. I guess technically Russia is Asia. Um, and then you would need Yanks to add the Americans, and then west of Alamein to add the British. And that's the majority of the major combatants in Europe. And then if you get into PTO, you'd want to add Rising Sun to that to get the Japanese, Marine Corps, and Chinese, I believe. 5/8 utility counters. We have some fortifications, some cavalry wagons, motorcycles and bicycles, and smoke. Now we get into the toys. We have German ordnance here and Russian ordnance here. And I really wish I had a better camera setup. I guess this works for what it is. My wife has a setup, a really nice setup, but the zoom level on it, I think she needs a different lens. She has a really nice setup that she does her scrapbooking stuff on, but the lens doesn't get the zoom out I need to get bigger modules under the camera. So I just use my phone and it mostly works. We start getting into British AFVs, or sorry, German AFVs. Todd punched some of these out. And you notice on this version of Beyond Valor and later modules in Multiman Publishing um, catalog, the counters, um, the sprue, not the sprue, I guess this is a sprue, but the little nub that connects it to the sprue and to each other is now in the corner. So there's no side nubs on any of these. So those of you who like to trim your counters, you're able to just nip the corners off and you have a nice smooth counter. Don't have to worry about the nubs on the side anymore. So I'm glad they got rid of that finally. More Russian AFVs. I'm assuming many of these are T-34s. Yeah, here's a bunch of T-34s up here. IS-2s. Is that getting blurry? Maybe. Uh, End of the Russian vehicles. Got some big guns here. 152. And some more German vehicles. Looks like trucks. Air support. More German vehicles. Air support. Some night counters. And this is probably the end of the German vehicles. Looks like some half tracks, some armored cars, maybe. And one half sheet of half-inch counters, finished support weapons, and some heroes crews. Some more night counters, skis, and all the informational counters you would need to play ASL are in Beyond Valor. More informational counters. Kind of a hodgepodge of what's left. Last counter sheet, 14 of 14. Let's get into the maps. Well, let's see. Let's look at the dice. They're pretty generic dice. They're functional. They they work. You have 4 colors. Um, Nothing special. Looks like they're, oh, maybe 12 millimeter, 12 and a half millimeter ish, close to it. Yeah, probably very cheap for multi-man publishing. They work. I'm sure we all have plenty of dice. Here's board one. Everyone's familiar with board one. The board, if anyone has played the Guards Counterattack, they've seen this board many, many, many times. They probably have some of the line of sights down from building to building. You know, what line of sight clips what edge of what building, that kind of thing. Board two, and if anyone has played uh, Classic Squad Leader, you recognize all of these boards. Classic Hill Hex, or sorry, Hill board from the original Squad Leader. Oop. Board three, again from Squad Leader, classic Village nestled in hills. I most recently played on this board in Gavin Take, in which I lost miserably. We played that last year during the anniversary of D-Day. Open countryside board from Classic Squad Leader. Now I have duplicates of all, well, several duplicates of all these boards. I no longer have the hard-mounted boards of any of these. I actually sold mine and converted them to the starter kit, the non-mounted version that you see here. Mainly because if I ever played with mixed boards, they'd line up better instead of having a unmounted board butted up against the mounted board. This board is from Cross of Iron, original Squad Leader. That's where it originates. The classic Woods board. This is board 7, no, board 8. Crescendo of Doom, maybe, that this came in. Looks like the artwork's been updated on it. Maybe GI, Emblem of Victory. Can't recall exactly. Once you get past 5 and you get into Crescendo Doom and GI Emblem of Victory, I get a little fuzzy on which boards were included in those modules originally. Now we're into the 20s with board 20. Another kind of city board. Board 21. The massive, massive cemetery in the middle. Board 22. Kind of maybe a suburban type city. Less dense, but a lot of buildings, but much less dense. I guess this might qualify it maybe as a factory in some scenarios. Board 23 with a canal running through it. Possibly another factory, qualifies as a factory. And the scenarios. And I'm just going to go through these quickly. Again, I'm not going to blur these out anymore. Some of these are classic Beyond Valor scenarios that have probably been updated slightly. And the rest of them have probably come like 1 through 10 are classic Beyond Valor scenarios. And then we have some other ones here like 123 upwards. Yeah, it'll say here like this scenario was previously published as A10. So these come from various other sources, and they've included them in the reprints of Beyond Valor, of which this is 2nd edition. So we have classic fighting withdrawal. If you got into ASL, this is probably the first scenario that you played because it's the first scenario in Beyond Valor, obviously. Mila 18. in the Warsaw Ghetto in Poland. We have basically the Jewish and the Germans. The Chernichow Bridgehead, scenario 3. Commissar's House, 4. It's a pretty popular one. In Sight of the Volga, that's Stalingrad, obviously German Russian. Red Packets, German Russian. Dash for the Bridge, German Russian. Pretty much all of these are going to be German Russian because that's the order of battle focused on in Beyond Valor. German Russian, the Fugitives, To the Square, the Citadel. Do I have these lined up right? Approximately. Borders are burning. Now we started getting into the Finns are included here. I think most of these are winter scenarios, or at least, yeah, they have snow on the borderline. Russian Finns. First Crisis at Army Group North. German Russian. Commando Schenk. That's a popular scenario. German Russian. Land Leviathans. Pretty much all armor and armor leaders. I know some people like and dislike. Armor seems to be a very polarizing rule set. Some people love armor in ASL, some people hate it, and I think they avoid it. I personally like it. Maybe not a pure armor scenario where it's just AFVs against AFEs, but scenarios that mix infantry with AFVs, I like them just fine. The Defense of Luga, Slamming the Door. Looks like these are all, most of them are annual scenarios, A7, early annual scenarios, or late annual A106. Debacle at Korston, Penetration of Rostov, Hill 253.5. Someone just submitted an AAR of Hill 253.5. Joey, I'm sorry, Joey, if I screw up your last name. Staben. Check that out on the website, aslplayers.net. Blockbusting at Bakhrusk. Counterattack on the Vistula. That's another fairly popular one. Acts of Defiance. And finally, the Agony of Doom. We have big German and big Russian toys to blow each other up. And that's it, other than an empty box and the back side of the box, which basically tells you what you get. 10 maps, 13 counter sheets, which is incorrect because I have 14. They're literally numbered 1 through 14. ASL 24 ASL scenarios and 4 6-sided dice. So I want to thank Todd, Wardrobe Plays WW2, for getting this to me at a reasonable price. I also have West of Alamein, not West of Alamein, that's the original name, for King and Country reprint that I bought, and I'll do an unboxing of that in the very near future. Like I said in a previous video, I'm going to do a bunch of catch up on all the products I have this winter. And if you have any feedback, please put them in the comments below. Please subscribe if you made it this far into the video. And until next time, roll low.